How's it going? Welcome back. Today I am revisiting the HMG, and I specifically equipped an armor with Peak Physique, which, if you don't know, reduces the drag of low handling. So as you turn around, your cursor will follow it a little more effectively. A lot of people suggested HMG plus supply pack, or that's what I see a lot of people run anyways, just because the HMG kind of runs through ammo pretty quickly. So I took HMG, Supply Pack, Airburst, Orbital Airburst Strike, and the Machine Gun Sentry. I didn't really use Orbital Airburst Strike very well in this video. To be honest with you, I don't really play very well in this video, but it kind of is what it is. This mission was way easier than I expected it to be, and I'll go into why in a little bit. I'll kind of let you see why, but for my primary, I took the AR-12. I took the Warrant as my secondary, and I took gas grenades as my grenades. Now I took the AR-12 because it's another weapon that I'm really not a fan of because of its low handling. And what I mean by low handling is like how long the aim takes to catch up when you move your crosshair. Now this video doesn't showcase it very well, I will be honest with you, but I played a couple games, quite a few of them, with trying out the fortified armor, which the description of that one is like further reduces recoil by 30% when you are prone or crouching. And then I also tried Peak Physique, which is reduces the drag of low ergonomics by like 40%. So I tried them both out because people would recommend either or for making the HMG feel usable. And I gotta say, I don't really mind the recoil that much because you can always kind of course correct for recoil or tap fire, etc. Like there's any number of things you can do that make it feel not nearly as bad. However, the handling is really hard to like correct for. If the cursor is just, or if the crosshair is not just keeping up with where I'm pointing the gun, it feels bad. So Peak Physique kind of felt a little bit mandatory to me. Here, I'm not, dude, even throughout this video, I never really respected the Orbital Airburst Strike, and it definitely gets me killed later. As I said, I don't play well in this video. I think the first part of the video I play fairly well in, but I think good play against the squids is kind of boring, because it's just killing watchers over and over again. What do I think of it? Well, I think it's a lot better than I originally gave it credit for. In the sense that it is kind of like a one-size-fits-all solution, but I am still not a fan of it, unfortunately. I think it does have its place. It's not bad. I will concede that. But it's something that you can pull out for chaff. It's something you can pull out for larger enemies. It's something you can pull out for medium-sized enemies. It is a very one-size-fits-all solution. And what I mean by that is like you can kill chaff just as efficiently as you can kill large enemies with it. At least on this front and the bot front. I didn't really try it that much on the Terminate front. I could give it a go if people really want to see it. I still don't think I would be really that impressed. It feels very limited by its ammo. I feel like every time I use it for anything, it runs out of ammo, and it just does not have a lot of ammo. I don't know. It just takes so long to reload too. It's one of the really punishing long reload times. And if I'm already taking something that's like an all-arounder, especially on this front or the bot front, it's hard for me to not just say, well, why don't I just want like the autocannon or I guess autocannons, or I mean, I guess to a certain extent, the normal machine gun, at least on this front. Because the normal machine gun will do basically just about, because there's no heavy armor. Well, there is a little bit of heavy armor on this front, but a lot of the times they still have medium armor or light armor weak points. So it's really hard for me to justify wanting this. Now here, dude, I was staring at my map. I was looking for any side objectives. And I thought there was maybe something at the very top of the map, on that little like peak point, that northwest corner. But I really couldn't tell anything else, and I was kind of weirded out by that because normally the bare minimum is like 3 side objectives. And granted, we did have eliminate overseers as an objective here, but it still felt very strange for this to be to not see anything else on the map except for maybe something in the northwest corner. To only find one side objective, I was like, okay, that's abnormal. What am I missing? Essentially, that's what was going through my head at least. Because I was like, dude, this is strange. D10 was like no side objectives. It's like the going to that sub and ordering D10 with no side objectives. You want a D10 with nothing? You know? So I'm like, dude, I was confused. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to hop in the car and drive around until I find a side objective. Because, like, what am I missing? Because, like, I'm seeing terrain. I'm seeing minor places of interest. But I'm not seeing objective except for maybe up there. And even then, I wasn't really sure. I was like, dude, I was dead certain I was missing something. I was like, man, am I not awake enough to be playing right now? Like, what am I looking at? Should I have done some warm-up rounds or something? Because I've done this mission before, and it's typically had like a couple side objectives. So I was dumbstruck. I was like, dude, what am I missing? But thankfully there was a car, so I could just kind of hop in that and drive around to figure out what I'm missing. Now, as I said, I don't play super well in this video. I will say the HMG feels good against overseers. It feels good against harvesters. It feels good against the veracitors. And I think it is entirely usable, especially if you're running Peak Physique. Well, pretty much only if you're running Peak Physique. I am not a fan of it at all outside of Peak Physique. The thing that kind of kills it for me in solos is the reload time. I very rarely, like, for the weapon that needs to be reloaded as often as it does, I very rarely find the time to be able to do so. So it's kind of just in a weird point where I'm like, I just don't really have the time or the break in combat to really support the reload on this weapon. Now here, I know I'm driving past this. I am kind of just looking for side objectives at this point. I'm looking for, like, anything. And I do see that LiDAR tower in the distance, so I'm like, okay, that's perfect. That is literally perfect because I can't find any side objectives outside of this, so the LiDAR will tell me what else I need to do, which is ideal. Did a quick somersault with the car for style points. Totally intentional. Drive by another little crab mech. There's a veraciter. Yeah. And if you see those like little spawns in, like as I drive into range, I left a comment recently talking about static spawns. Those are static spawns. If I drive away, they will unload, and if I drive back, they'll do the same kind of spawn and animation. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Orbital Airburst Strike. It's very strange. It, like, I can't really get a good feel for its hitbox. It comes down at angle from your Super Destroyer, so the farther you are to the edge of the map, the steeper the angle is going to be. But it's just strange. I wasn't a big fan of it. Yeah. But I used the HMG a fair amount this video. I think it's, as I said, I think it's good. Like, to a certain extent, you could use it. I just think in terms of my personal preference, I'm going to be hard pressed to really enjoy using it. It doesn't feel good. It feels really sluggish compared to most other options. And like the vast majority of the time during this mission, I was like, man, this would just feel so much better using like Stalwart plus an Eruptor, which is literally exactly why I think that is probably the best build for the Illuminate. But it kind of is what it is. I mean, it kills overseers pretty quickly. Like, I'm tap firing it like 2-3 times and it's able to kill them. But it just goes through so much ammo so fast that, like, we get to this guy and I just don't have the ammo to kill him anymore after dealing with like 2 swarms of intruders and 1 other overseer. That was a sick dodge. That grenade was a little close. If that went off, it would have killed us both. Mutually assured destruction right there. Thus far, I've been really good about killing these. Now, this is also my first time using the Warrant. A lot of people swear by the Warrant. They're like, this is the single best secondary on the squid front. So I was like, you know what? I'll give it a go. And I think to a certain extent I can see it. Obviously, being able to kill Watchers is pretty good. Now, I did do some testing in this video. You'll see me do it. And I found out that its effective range is like 60 meters-ish, I think. I gotta say, I wasn't a fan of that. To be honest with you, I would just prefer weapons that require aiming that can kill the watchers from even farther than that distance. But it is what it is. I don't know. I'm really hard pressed to like auto aim weapons in general. I know the Wasp is good for this, for Illuminate. And here you can see me testing the effective range because I ping it so I see like how long before it comes into range. I think it's a little over 60, like 61, 62. Because later on in the video, I lock onto something, I think it's 62 meters away. So I'm not entirely sure, but it's around there. And I don't know. I still think I would just prefer a weapon that I could just like tap fire at that distance and kill rather than just locks on. And it also feels a little clunky, like firing a burst weapon. I would rather you just click to fire the entire 3-round burst rather than like hold through the burst. Like that feels weird. And I feel like that's something that they could hopefully change in like accessibility options or something. Because it feels very strange to like hold the trigger for a burst rather than... Maybe that's how actual guns work. I don't know. I haven't really fired a gun in burst mode ever. But it just feels strange to hold the trigger in burst mode to fire 3 shots, and then in game at least I think it would feel a little more interesting. Oh, yeah, by the way, I checked my map. There's no other side objectives. I had 2 side objectives, and one was like the freest side objective ever, which is the kill overseers. So there's just effectively 1 side objective. If I was running like a Ruptor and Stalwart, I could have cleared this mission so fast. I could have done this in like, this would have been like a 15-minute mission, 10-minute mission maybe. I would have crushed this mission. I might do that as a video just to showcase how fucking easy this mission is. But I mean, like, I've done this mission before. It normally spawns with more side objectives. This is very strange to me still. But it's kind of crazy. This shit was so easy for some reason. I don't know. Also, I'm sorry for like the boring gameplay at the start of this. Like, I feel like the demonstration of good gameplay against the squids is just your ability to kill watchers quickly, and that doesn't translate well into a video. Yeah, I don't know. I really wasn't feeling the Warrant. It feels very ammo inefficient as well. Like, I don't know. I still think like I'd be hard pressed to find something that beats Stalwart plus Eruptor. It's just so easy to use and so efficient. It's so nice. And you can do stuff from way further away. I mean, granted, like I probably could have run like a Ruptor with the HMG and this would have already felt better to a certain extent because you can take the parked warp ships from much farther away. But kind of is what it is. I'm like, at this point, dude, I have 27 minutes left to do 2 outposts and the main objective. I mean, you're going to see some things go horribly wrong because this video is obviously not done in the next 10 minutes, but kind of is what it is. Now, I debated stopping to fight those guys, but I was like, nah. At this point, I was kind of thinking, yeah, we should probably just wrap this mission up. This shit was like kind of easy. It's going to be kind of boring to watch. Now, this is definitely foreshadowing. Some stuff does go wrong eventually. Now, I do decide to park the car facing out over here because I figure this is going to take me like maybe a minute to run around and kick grenades and all the things. I think this was right around where things started to go wrong. But I don't know. It's very... The HMG, it's good. I can see the appeal in it. And I think it's a lot better in multiplayer where you have other players to provide the space for you to reload. But later on, you're going to see me getting like chased endlessly, and I just cannot reload the HMG, so I'm just like, man, this kind of sucks. I throw the Airburst strike over there. I really should have checked the position of my ship before I threw it, because it might just be coming down and hitting that. I mean, it's not, thankfully. But if my ship was behind me, that could have been rough. But like you can see, I've learned that tap firing the HMG with Peak Physique feels a lot better. It deals with overseers, flying overseers, all of that pretty effectively. It's not bad at all. It's not my favorite for the obtruders. I really like. It just makes me miss the Stalwart. The Stalwart like beams these guys out of the sky so fast, and you can just hold it, and it's way more ammo efficient. I think the Stalwart is like 250 rounds per magazine. I don't know what the HMG has, but it does not feel like anywhere close to that. Yeah, so that call-in, this was the first call-in, and this was the beginning of the end, in my opinion, unfortunately. And I mean, I don't lose the mission, but like, this was a very open area to try and fight this. Now, I brought gas grenades because I've heard people say they're good against the intruders, and I really couldn't find any other grenades that were good against them. So I used these on purpose to see, and you can see it is like dropping them out of the sky, so it is kind of working. Nowhere near to the degree that just like shooting them would. Maybe frags would be better, but so often they're kind of hovering a little too high off the ground for me to really think that would be effective. Dude, every time you pull out the weapon, it shows you the main ammo economy. So when I pulled that out, I glanced down to see what mode I was in, and it showed me 6 out of 6 mags. So I was like, okay, I'm in bullets. And then I go to fire, and then it changes to 3 out of 3 for grenades. That's a little annoying, but whatever. Like you can see, I'm like struggling to like even get the space to reload with just like 3 overseers on me and a couple of intruders. And it just feels so bad, like having to disengage this. I think, as I said, in teams it's a lot better, because you have more sentries sitting around, less intruders, you have just an easier time dealing with stuff in general. Now I know it's way more efficient to shoot the this was a mistake. This was a mistake. I try and take cover behind this. This was not a good enough angle. Yep. That's just stupid play by me. And then I absolutely hate how this game like tries to spawn you far away from where you died. 9 times out of 10, I'm just like, dude, just put me next to my shit and we're good. And because it didn't put me next to my shit, it takes me long enough for the harvesters to re-aggro and start coming back towards me before I can like get to my shit again. It really feels like whenever I die in this game, the game like does math to decide the worst possible location to respawn me in sometimes. Now that was a bad orbital airburst strike. That shit could very easily kill me. I do prioritize killing that, and then I just die to this. I needed to like hit the deck and go under it. And I don't mean dive, I like mean actually like hit the prone key, because your character will go prone much faster. And so I could have dodged under that beam. This is literally just bad play pretty much. But I do get to a point where I'm like, okay. Like you see, do you see how fast you can kill the Watcher at that distance? Using just the oh, that was really close. Using just the HMG tap firing? Like, why would I want the Warrant for that when I could bring the ultimatum and close warp ships from any angle? I think previously, dude, and then the Warrant not locking up, dude, yeah. This is like the reason I do not use auto aim weapons. That shit, or not the reason I don't use them, but the reason I don't like them. Like that shit immediately pissed me off and immediately made me like biased against the Warrant. Up until that point, I was like, okay, I can see the appeal. It's like kind of good. Like, I mean, you can kill Watchers pretty effectively with it, so like you don't have to worry about the ammo economy on your main guns. So like I could see the use case. But the moment it locked onto the wrong thing and the Watcher like got it off, I was like, all right, never mind. The Warrant has exited my build just as fast as it entered. Yeah, wasn't a fan. I know people swear by it. I still think Ultimatum's better. Ultimatum's just the pick on all 3 fronts. It reloads faster than a recoilless rifle, and like it doesn't have a stationary reload. It's so good. The demo force is, I think, is higher than a recoilless rifle, so you can break through city walls. Like it's just really, I'm really hard pressed to use anything but the ultimatum, which like kind of like showcases just how good Servants of Freedom can be in terms of in terms of being the second most recommended war bond for me. It's just Servants of Freedom is just so good because it has the ultimatum. The ultimatum is just incredible. But yeah, this was pretty bad. This is just like me ended up getting caught fighting these guys for like 10 years. This is like, in my opinion, this is just a waste of time. If I was running like Stalwart plus Eruptor, dude, I would be chilling. I could disengage this so fast because you can just warp, or yeah, I mean, warp pack as well. But I could just like With a good build, dude, this mission would have flown by. I would have been done yesterday with this shit. It's just I don't know. HMG just doesn't feel good. I think, like, first of all, having to use an armor set just to make it viable in the first place. Now, I did kind of a mistake there by breaking that under spire, which kind of is what it is. And that's why I'm kind of like, okay, I need to just leave. And that was really, really close. And then that one actually got me. See that? When you break that under spire, you can see how often he starts doing his beam attack. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm just dying repeatedly. I've made 0 progress in the past 7 minutes. I need to just break contact entirely. And then we can come back to this with a better mindset, better loadout. Recall down my shit. I do accidentally run into this harvester, unfortunately. And I thought he was beaming attack. I didn't realize he was electrifying. You can dodge that. If I dived there, I think I would have lived. But now we've gotten down to 1 reinforcement. We're very fast. This is like, this went from the easiest mission ever to like actually kind of hard in 7 minutes because we had so much time. And now I have no reinforcements left because I wasn't paying attention to the angle at which my ship was at, and that went way further than I expected it to. So as I said, you'll see how fast things go badly. I do think I kind of lock in a second. That's also annoying. That is just as annoying as like when an enemy leaves a bug hole right as you're throwing a grenade, so it kicks it out. The shield coming back right then is very annoying. But not much they can do about that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the Warrant. I think people kind of overhype it to a certain extent. I think it can be good. I mean, I think it's like, in terms of like how good it is, it's going to inversely scale with how good you are. If you are bad at the game, the Warrant is better. If you are good at the game, the Warrant is worse. Because if you can already reliably kill the Watchers at range with pretty much whatever weapon you're using, like you can just kind of aim at them, tap fire, whatever you need to do to kill it very quickly, then the Warrant is not going to feel great, in my opinion. If you can't do that, or you have a build that struggles with that, then the Warrant is going to feel better. Because it auto-aims for you. So it's like, it's really easy to use. It's kind of dummy-proof to a certain extent. But in my opinion, I would just rather have the control to aim onto it without the lock-on feature, because if there's any other enemy next to it or behind it, it can delay my shots just enough so that the snitch survives long enough to call in shit. And I would just rather not deal with that, to be honest with you. I would rather just have a weapon that I don't have to wait for it to lock on, or wait for it to lock onto the right target. I can just shoot the snitch myself, you know? But I can see why people would consider it worth it in the Superstore. I think if I was going to pick up the Warrant again, like if I had to reset my account, do everything else from scratch, I'd probably get it after I got all of the other war bonds and probably all of the other weapons in the Superstore. Like it would probably be pretty low on the list of things to get again. But I'd still pick it up eventually just because with how often I play, super credits are kind of plentiful. Now I chose this mission instead of doing the Exospires because this has always been my favorite Illuminate mission. This is probably like the second coolest mission in the game in my opinion in terms of like how it's designed. Like shooting down a giant like alien spaceship, it feels super cool. It feels like kind of like Independence Day or something. And I think they did an excellent job executing it. The objective actually feels like fun and fresh compared to a lot of the ones where it's just like go here, hit the terminal, wait for a little bit. This one, while it boils down to the same stuff, it actually has the aiming of the interplanetary cannon as well, which, depending on how much you played this mission and how much you know, you might think, oh, well, isn't that... See, that locked on before 60. That locked on at like 61, 62 maybe. But you might think it's just like, I forget how many, it's like 10 shots or something if you just shoot the ship like randomly. But it does have a weak point that you can shoot specifically. And that is the little glowing port. And you'll see me aim for it when I when I do this objective here. But this has always been one of my favorite missions, and I was always sad that it was only available in city missions, because I'm not a fan of city missions like at all, for a multitude of reasons. They are significantly easier because they don't have whatchamacallits. They don't have mega nests, but that's just like in general on all fronts. They also, on the Illuminate specifically, typically have the Leviathans, which I was a fan of for a little bit. Like, it was kind of cool when they first came out to hunt them, but then after the newness kind of wore off, I was like, I'm not super big fan of it. Now, if you aim for the weak spots on this, you can, I think, drop the ship in 3 shots. One to like start on the shields, second one to break the shields, and then third shot directly to weak point will kill it. Now you can see how I'm like lining it up. I'm like walking behind it to kind of get it where I need to go. And then, now I already knew, like at this point, this is probably going to hit the ship regardless. But at this point, I'm like kind of lining more up with the port. And see those like those little glowing blue orbs on it. If you can get it in that port, that is where it will one-shot the ship after the shields are down. And so it takes a little while to line up because you're not at the right angle to really like see where it's aiming. But you can see like how I'm like trying to line it up, and then I always use the first 2 shots as kind of a better like as a way to like course correct the aim, because the first 2 shots, no matter what, are going to be like breaking the shields, so you don't have to worry too much about it like missing. As long as it's going to hit the thing, it doesn't really matter. Now I got in position to kill this guy. This is kind of where the HMG shines, is like killing these medium-sized enemies very, very quickly. I wouldn't really call those guys heavy enemies. They do take a lot of damage to kill sometimes, but like I feel like they're almost more akin to like chargers or something than like a true heavy enemy. But you can see this first shot, I do want to watch where it goes because I want to course correct my aim off of it. And you can see it goes just a little high and a little right of where that port is. Because we want to get right in that port. We want it to be, I mean, you want to shoot for dead center, but obviously you don't have to get there. So I go just a little bit left, and then I go just a little bit down, just a little bit. Because at such a distance, the minor aim adjustments are going to matter a lot more than you would think. And so we send another shot. This is our second shot. And we watch. And we see this one goes. Bam. Right in the port. Like, that's perfect. So this next shot will kill pretty much. And then we are done with main objective. And we still have that 1 outpost left. But granted, it took me like 15 minutes to deal with that other outpost. This... You could say we're a little low on time. It shouldn't take me that long, but I was playing pretty poorly. I already had that death loop once. But yep, third shot kills. Another easy mission. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, so third shot kills. And then, yeah, because I knew I had a lot of time left, I decided to mess around a little bit. So I bring the gun all the way back down, because I want to try and shoot it at the outpost, because I realized when I came over to this objective that I had line of sight on it. So I bring it about as low as it can go, and then I want to turn it all the way around. And then I wanted to see if I could hit this warp ship over there. Now, I won't spoil it, but I've seen other people do this before. And I thought this was a great time to like try it out for myself, because I very rarely get that. I wanted to aim it down a little more, but that was as far down as it could go. Now I try and see how lined up this is, but this is a lot harder because I can't like walk behind it and look above. I go a little further left. I should have gone, well, you'll see. But I try and line it up to the best of my ability, and that warp ship's quite a distance away, but I do fire once. And then I'm trying to watch to see where the shot goes. It's like, boom, that is way too far to the right. So we go left a good amount. I call out another machine gun sentry, because really the only thing I'm worried, like the only thing really coming up on me is like obtruders and watchers. So I was kind of chilling. We want to watch this next shot. Boom. Right over. Okay. Well, it kind of looked like it went right over. I wasn't sure. So just to double check, I'd make sure this is as low as I can possibly go. I'm going to fire one more time just to see. And I'm fully restocking because I'm pretty sure I'm about to leave this. And we fire. And you can see that one does go right over. And I can't get the cannon any lower, unfortunately. So at this point, I'm like, okay, whatever. I will go elsewhere. Or, well, I'll go over there and do it myself, to be honest. But if you were curious, if you can hit one, it will destroy it. I wasn't able to do it. You can see I am finally... I'm looking for the angle, and I realized that I was just at the perfect angle for that shit to hit me. And it is like... It has such a weird, large hitbox. I wasn't a fan of the Orbital Airburst strike. I've used it before. I don't think I was a fan of it then. But I feel like, you know, variety is the spice of life. But you can see, I cannot... Dude, I have to get closer to the snitch to kill it. Where if I'm using like the stalwart or like... Or literally any other ballistic weapon, I can just kind of get closer and kill those. Now here I did want to showcase the HMG does deal with the mechs fairly well. Unfortunately, this guy kind of just manned up and charged. Now he did hit that thing right in front of me, which stunned him, which is very nice. I think this plus like stun grenades maybe go better. I just tried the gas grenades just to see how they'd feel against the intruders. I wasn't really impressed, but it kind of is what it is. Now the HMG is good with the harvester, good against the harvesters. I just didn't really showcase this very well at all because a lot of times I was shooting at the harvester themselves when you really should be shooting at their leg joint, similar to how I did in my best war bond against the appropriators faction. The leg joint will die faster because I think it's medium penetration. So maybe, I don't remember off the top of my head, but the HMG, or basically when you match the penetration level of the armor type that you're shooting at, you will deal half damage. Whereas if you exceed the armor type, you will deal full damage. Which is the whole point, which is the whole point of using the HMG on this faction. Because instead of doing the half damage of the machine gun, which I think is like 90, so you're doing like 45 damage a shot, you're now doing the full damage of the HMG, which I think is 150 damage per shot. So you can theoretically kill things a lot faster. The only problem is you have to use the HMG. Like, you have to deal with the poor handling, the awful recoil, the low magazine size, the long reload. And to be honest with you, I would just rather use the normal machine gun. I think it's a better all-arounder on this faction than the HMG. But some people swear by this and like actually really, really enjoy it and want the higher damage per shot compared to the machine gun. But I mean, that's personal preference at that point. If that's what you're looking for, go for it. Now this guy's at a really bad angle. I could have like maybe stormed up there and then killed him with this. Maybe I could have like hopped on the car's machine gun. It's really hard to tell. I do try and kill him a little bit, but he kind of just walks out of sight. I was trying to hit his back leg a little bit, but it wasn't really working. I do switch to grenade in the hopes that I can get up there and destroy it real quick. I am trying to do a little bit better job about killing watchers this time around. And we do get that one pretty easily. But then there's like 50 million intruders right around the corner. One of them makes me bleed too, which is kind of crazy. But at this point I was like, whatever. We're just going to drive around and we're going to go to the next one. Because I didn't really want to engage too hard. I was kind of like down to just get out of here. I tested what I wanted to test. I think, as I said, I think the HMG is better than I gave it credit for. But I am still not personally a fan. It has its use cases. It's not terrible. Peak Physique makes it feel a lot better. I think in teams, it is like, again, another like 10 steps up just because you have teammates to cover your reload. Like you can see, even like with Peak Physique, I am able to actively kill these obtruders a lot better. But it kind of is what it is. Now, the reason I ran past the car was I needed to resupply from my backpack and then re-stim just because I knew how much damage I was taking. There, my Sentry landed on the little spore cloud, so he's entirely useless for a while he just chills in the smoke. And then they already called in, so I'm kind of in a rough position. Now, again, I wanted to use the HMG, and then I switched the AR, And when you originally pull it out, it just shows the amount of bullets you have left. And I couldn't get in the car again because the harvester walked over it. So now I'm just getting pushed away. Like, this kind of just sucked. I was like, man, this sucks. And I was literally just resupplying to get more stims because this was like an annoying amount of enemies on me. And I was just spamming with this. I don't know. I really was not a fan of the Warrant. Like, sure, it's like putting out good damage here, but like not nearly as efficient as I'd like it to be. I don't know. It's just, I feel like it's very weak to compensate for the fact that it has auto aim, and I would just rather have a stronger weapon that doesn't have auto aim, because I feel like auto aim is almost a drawback to me as well. I would rather just aim myself, because as you can, like, as you know, it fucked me over earlier where it aimed on the wrong thing. Now, people have said it's pretty good at killing these mechs because you can, like, it'll auto lock onto the pilot and you can just kill them in like a full mag. I think that's probably the case, but oh, here I'm just leaving literally in it like gas everywhere to cover my exit because I wanted time. I wanted time to reload the HMG, and I figured this was one of the more efficient ways to guarantee I was going to get that. And you can see it did work. It gave me enough time. Now we still have to run all the way back to that outpost, kill that one warp ship, and then we can leave. But yeah, I don't know. I think this build is interesting. I don't like it. I don't like the HMG. I think there's just better options. But I do think it's nice that I was able to like kind of go out of my way to experiment with it, and I think that you should try it yourself to see how it feels. I think it feels a lot better in teams and a lot better with Peak Physique. Both those things are vast improvements. I wasn't a fan of the Warrant. I know a lot of people swear by it. I think I don't want to be like, you know, holier than thou, but I think it might be people recommending it because they have a hard time aiming. Because I struggle to see a world where I would want to use the Warrant over like the Ultimatum. Being able to close Luminant warp ships at any angle is just incredible. And then for grenades, I was not a fan of gas grenades. They don't confuse the obtruders, so you have to stay like near the gas for them to actually take the full damage of it. But I've still been struggling to like find a grenade that I really like against this faction. I think if like I might try frags just because those might be good enough if you like cook it and then throw it into a crowd of them. But like you can see, the HMG tears through a couple of these mechs and then is able to kill like an overseer or two, and then I have to reload it. If it had a much larger max size, like if you doubled its max size, I would be like, okay, it's usable. But I was not a fan. It just takes so long to reload. And then its mag size just like flies by in the blink of an eye. And I really like, that's a hard sell for me. It would have to be really, really strong for me to like feel like that's good. And if I'm already picking an all-rounder weapon, why am I not just picking the autocannon, which is very good on this faction? I don't know. It's just strange. I'm not a big fan of it. Other people will probably mention. If you want me to revisit it on like Terminids or bots, or you think there's a much better like specific use case for it, I'll give it a go. I don't mind. I just think, dude, they blew up my car. That was gonna be my exit plan. I was going to destroy this warp ship and then hop in the car and drive away. But now I'm like, okay, well, that kind of sucks. So we'll attack from over here instead. Drew a quick little rainbow above it with the missed HMG shots. The recoil is just awful on it. I don't know. The handling makes guns not fun for me, which is like my similar complaint to the AR-1 too. Because with the reduced drag with this armor set, the AR-1 like felt usable here. Like it was like, okay, it's actually like not the worst thing in the world. But that's with a very specific armor set, and that just feels very strange to me to have that be a requirement. I kind of just cover my exit with this. I know pretty much that I'm gonna be like fighting basically until the end of the mission because I'm not gonna be able to kill watchers with the amount of enemies coming back in. I call another HMG so that I hopefully at some point don't have to reload, because I'm pretty sure if I get overwhelmed here, I'm just never gonna get a chance to reload it, which is gonna suck, but it is what it is. Maybe I just need to not use, like, I mean, it's able to kill those fairly fast. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing really wrong with it. Even with everything people say to make it feel good, it still feels bad in my opinion. But I mean, that's how personal preference works. That's how opinions work. I'm allowed to think it feels bad, just as you guys are allowed to disagree. I was not a fan. But it is what it is. If this reload actually, that's kind of crazy that reload is actually able to get off. Yeah, there's just gonna be like constant illuminate drops on extract. See, I really should revisit this with a much stronger build to showcase the difference in just how it feels. Because like if I come back with like do this exact mission type again with like Stalwart, Warp Pack, and Eruptor, this shit would fly by. Like I'd be done in like 15 minutes and I could kill farm for like 25 minutes on extract, just letting shit call in constantly. I might do that just because it would be interesting to see how many kills I could get. I don't know what my record is for. I was also thinking about trying to do a video where I like try and beat my automaton kill record, but I haven't really ironed out all the kinks on the loadout yet. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, Hero's just chugging stims and throwing gas grenades basically everywhere in the hopes that those intruders will finally die to it at some point. But they don't give a fuck about gas. They do not. They just fly through that shit easily. It's only if they really like stay in the cloud for a long time do they die. But like, see, the HMG feels good to shoot in like this specific scenario. But then once I need to reload it, I'm like, man, I wish I was using anything else. Because the amount of time you spend shooting is so low to the amount of time you spend reloading. Or it feels like it's 1-to-1, which is like, it shouldn't feel like that for any gun, pretty much. But thankfully, I left another HMG over here. Turn up that RPM real quick. And start using it to take a couple more kills with me on the way out. Because the downside is reloading it and just like the bad handling. Whereas if I don't need to reload it, I can kind of use it to my heart's extent. Anyways, another easy mission in the books. This one was very weird. 2 side objectives on a D10 is unheard of to me, at least. Very strange. Should not have taken me 40 minutes. If I was using a stronger build, I would have been like, I would have been chilling. I would have been done ages ago. But yeah, that's crazy. 3 outposts and 2 side objectives, and then the main objective. I might try this again with like a full build, like a full actual good build, just to showcase just how easy this can be. But yeah. Either way, that's the Take 10 Overship. Very cool mission. I love the mission type. I think it's super cool. The vibes are cool. The actual like objective and using it is cool. Having a weak point on such a large enemy shooting for the port specifically feels very, very cool. A lot of times when I see randoms do it, they kind of just like get the cannon roughly on target and then just keep firing until it dies, which is, it's inefficient, but whatever floats your boat, you know? The Siege Ready skin is pretty cool. I like how the skin color changes when you die. Like, it just gives you a new one each time. I got 577 kills, 5 deaths, 35 stims used. Anyways, let me know guys what you guys want to see next, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.